has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. Quests will fail or must be abandoned. Heroes will die, and when they die, they stay dead. Progress autosaves constantly, so actions are permanent. The game expects a lot out of you. How far will you push your adventurers? How much are you willing to risk in your quest to restore— oh god, never mind. Hi everyone, I'm Peter Moxilin, Keeper Emeritus of the Archives, and welcome to Darkest Dungeon. Specifically DD1, DD2 is a thing, and I intend to play it eventually, but I've never actually beaten the first game, so I want to get through that at the very least. Now, that is to make sure that we don't go back to the intro area. This is just a little test I did to try to make sure I knew what the hell I was doing. Delete that. So, I am not inexperienced with this game. I have, like, just shy of 150 hours in it at the moment. I think that my Steam page says, like, 146 point something hours. That is spread over since, like, when the game was in early access or something, though. So, for those of you who know how this game plays, to calibrate you, I've gotten as far as some of the random encounter late-game bosses and the first assault on the Darkest Dungeon. Anything beyond that, I have straight up not seen before. I haven't even watched a playthrough to that point so far. So, we're going to be getting into some new stuff eventually, but I am at least generally knowledgeable. But also, it's been a while since I've played, so not necessarily that knowledgeable. Let's get into it. So, since this is going to be the first playthrough where I am really, well and truly trying to get to the end, goodbye Crimson Court. Do not play Crimson Court for your first playthrough. You will die. I'm also going to go ahead and disable Color of Madness, because honestly, my main reasoning is that I want this to be a quite vanilla playthrough. I don't want to have too many bells and whistles above just the base game. I'll keep districts because, honestly, I just like the idea of that meta progression of kind of building up a town in between your various assaults. Like, for example, in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I like buying out all of Rome before getting to the end game. It's just a quirk of what I'm like. Gonna keep Flagellant because Flagellant is fun. Gonna keep Shieldbreaker because I'm a little bit worried about the Shieldbreaker nightmares, but it's just kind of a fun class to play otherwise, / because of. Musketeer, I'll keep on, though for anyone who is not aware, the Musketeer is not actually anything new. It is just a reskin of a different hero class called the Arbalist. So, it doesn't actually add anything, it's just a different character model. And I think the abilities are flavored differently because it's a gun instead of a crossbow. Whatever. Point is, no Crimson Court, no Color of Madness, let's go. Ah, right. Because this is my first campaign, I'm going to the end, hopefully, we're also going to be on Radiant difficulty, aka Easy Mode. Look, we had that warning in the intro of how difficult this game is. Easy Mode is still not necessarily incredibly easy. It is easy at points, especially because, again, I do have some idea what I'm doing. But I will absolutely die on either of these. So we're going Radiant. What does it actually say, by the way? Still challenging, adjusted to be faster and more forgiving than normal, suggested for your first Darkest Dungeon experience. I'll get into a little bit of what I think I know about Radiant Mode as we get there. For now, boop. I guess just Dungeon. I never know what to actually spell, or what to actually do for the name for the file.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
And before we go on, I actually do want to just take a quick moment here. For those of you who don't know, the narrator for this game and for Darkest Dungeon 2, at least up to the Kingdoms DLC as far as I'm aware, the narrator is voice actor Wayne June. Wayne actually, unfortunately, passed away at time of recording on the order of a week ago. As far as I'm aware, no cause of death has been given. He was about 70 years old. Everyone, community, content creators, the team at Red Hook Studios all agree that he has been an integral part of Darkest Dungeon. Like, listen to the line reads, listen to the character of his voice on these. He is perfect, and read all of the script for these games perfectly. I genuinely do not know what they intend to do without his voice. I trust Red Hook to make a good decision, but man, that is a blow. Anyway, let's get to the tutorial. The old road. With the stagecoach destroyed and the caretaker gone, you will have to make the journey to the hamlet on foot. And hello, Reynauld and Dismas. Yeah, we're in a room. Yep, Dismas. By the way, this is tab to change that.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead. Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Okay. Let's try not to die on the first encounter. We should be okay. Could go for the stun. Don't think it really matters. Smite's more damage. Cool.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
You start with Klepto, right? Yeah. Removing Klepto from Reynauld is probably a good idea. Actually, what are your positive quirks? 10% damage if torch above 75, stun resist, and +2 speed. Okay.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Aye.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Oh my god. That is an uncommonly bad start, by the way. Okay. Stunning blow. Luckily, between rank 1 and 2 here, neither of them care that much. Okay, so pistol shots rank 2 only. Noted. Bypass stealth, de-stealth. It can hit back here. Does it actually do damage? Damage mod minus 80%, so not a lot. Oh... I could move Dismas back, but I don't think that's the play since they can both attack the big guy. If that lowers our dodge each time it hits. And your stun resist is now plus 50 up to 100%. Our base is stun 100, so straight damage is better. And the bleed. Got the bleed. 4 damage, so you're at 8 now. Okay. What's the odds of 8 damage? 6 to 12. Good chance, but not guaranteed. And you still have the stun resist. Good, so bleed takes you out.
The bigger the beast.
And because DOT kill, no corpse. And now Rust Shot is all you have, so we are good.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Ooh, nice crests. For the longest time, I thought citrine was like books or something. Like, I thought that this was looking edge-on, so the center bit was paper, and then the sides were the covers. It's gems. It is so obviously gems. And I think... Yeah, come on. And I think that this is guaranteed to be trapped. And we get blighted. Yep. And then we finish the quest. Cool. Both them up to level 1. Okay, so you're bad on the first round by a fair bit, actually. But you get +2 speed overall. That's solid. Plus stress if torch low. I try to keep torch high, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Though there are times where your torch is definitely going to go to 0. And good against beast-type enemies. That's going to be largely in the Weald, I think it is, like the dogs and spiders and such. We'll get to those later.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Okay, so my ideal with this campaign is to go through this quest goal list and actually finish it. By the way, this is how I know there are 4 assaults on the Darkest Dungeon. I haven't seen 2 through 4, but I know they're there. The roster goals I'm less committed to getting, but I'm gonna end up getting at least a lot of them anyway, so if we can get all that finished, then sure. But the quest goals, aka beating all of the bosses, that is one that I want to try to get to. Let's see, are the optional bosses here? Brigand Incursion, I think, is one of them. I don't think the bird was here, though. Okay, so we'll see that eventually. Yep, y'all are now level 1. Cool. Now, per episode, I intend to finish up whatever mission we're on and then cut it there. So then we start each episode by getting back to the hamlet and then figuring out what we're doing for the quest for that next episode. Because we're in tutorial land at the moment, let's go ahead and go through the hamlet stuff, then go on our first little tutorial foray into the ruins, I think it is. Then at the end of that, I'll cut the episode. Okay, so H for contextual help.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Yep, recruit heroes. The usual suspects.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
And I accidentally skipped over the one for the Vestal. Whoops. And yeah, upgrade the network so that we can get more people at higher levels, etc., etc. This is a nice little upgrade that we obviously cannot even come close to getting at the moment. But each level of this increases the level of heroes that can show up in our stagecoach. So everyone's going to be level 0 at the moment. That allows for starting level 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't guarantee that heroes of that level will show up, but it makes it possible. Now we're going to not do this for now because we have 10 slots, and that's enough for right now, and I don't need... Increasing the number of available heroes might not be the worst, actually. Let's see what else I want to get in a moment, though. One of the things you'll learn, always check your options before you commit any resources. Yeah, thanks, embark, I'll do it in a moment.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Yeah, there's all the bosses. Include the final stage of your campaign. That's what we're aiming for.
Trinkets and charms, gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
Yeah, I don't tend to use the trinket wagon, or the nomad wagon, I guess, all that much. I tend to sell the lower rarity and more common trinkets so that we can bolster our gold, but I don't really buy them all that often.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
But not yet. By the way, Darkest Mode, Stygian, whatever it's called, actually limits you to a certain maximum number of deaths. If more than, like... My gut says either 50 or 10, and that's a hell of a range. If too many of your heroes die, you just lose the campaign. Stygian also includes a time limit where you need to finish your final assault on the Darkest Dungeon within, like, 52 weeks or something, like 1 year. Radiant Mode and Dark Mode, whatever the middle one is, those do not have that restriction or the hero death restriction. One difference with Radiant Mode, though, is that higher level heroes can enter lower difficulty dungeons. So typically, I think that the apprentice level that we'll see in a moment...
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
Yeah, so the apprentice level mission here, for the higher difficulties, it's like you can bring up to level 3 heroes, then the mid-level difficulty you can bring level 4 to 6, but it's like, for highest level difficulty ones, you can only bring level 6s or something like that. For Radiant Mode, apprentice level you can bring up to level 4. And since hero level 6 is the maximum, each level is actually a pretty substantial increase in power. Now then, usual suspects. Hell yeah. And I don't think we have any trinkets, so we can't get anything from that, so let's go to provisioning. Which, by the way, yes, this is here. Darkest, level 6. Kill 1 shuffling horror. Yeah. They literally will not go if you try to do this, I think.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
Different supplies. This is a pretty much... I think this is like the only non-procedurally generated dungeon. Maybe 1 or 2 of the assaults on the Darkest Dungeon are procedural, but for the most part they are procedural. I tend to go for 1 full stack for an apprentice. We could probably get it down to 8, honestly, but I want to bolster it just in case. You never want to run out of food. I could probably go down to 6 here, no problem. Let's bring... 1 shovel should be enough, I think. I'm tempted to bring more, but I know that this is the starter dungeon. They're just introducing it to you. So, like, they give you an extra shovel, I'm pretty sure. There's not that much to interact with. We should be fine. I could probably knock the food down to 8, but whatever. Actually, yeah, we have no campfire, so we need to hit 3 hunger tiles. Let's do that. Saves us 300 gold. That should be okay. Maybe running a little low on torches at the end, but should be fine. Your first expedition into the ruins of your ancestry. Be curious. Be careful. Yep. Same dungeon every time.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
T to use a torch, by the way. Ah. Right. Starting abilities. I guess we want you in 3? Yeah, because that'll at least let you use illumination. Whoops. Yeah, if it... or open vein isn't going to work here, so pistol shot's better.
Another one falls.
Yep, corpses. Because we didn't DOT the big guy. Sorry, we did DOT the big guy to death in the first fight, and if they die from DOT, they don't leave a corpse. Yep, killed with light, bleed, or crits. Oh, I forgot about crits. Leave no corpses at all. Plus damage on Reynauld. By the way, 2 basic-ass skeletons here is essentially the easiest fight you can get.
Executed with impunity.
Extra
If
shovel.
only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Portraits are a good find, by the way. They don't stack too very high, so actually getting a lot of them is quite difficult at times. So some early portraits are a nice little find. And shovel.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
And that tile is when our torchlight went below 75, so we now have plus stress and plus monster crits. 100 to 75, not actually that bad. The difference between 100 and 0 is quite a bit. So, yeah, try not to let that happen. Unless you are... Sorry, try not to let your torchlight go to 0 unless you want it to go to 0. Because at lower illumination levels, there's actually higher loot. So there's a bit of a risk-reward going on there. Anyway, Plague Grenade, damn it. We want to get rid of this one because it's a stressor. It deals stress damage instead of HP damage. Also, it does that. That's not great, but not terrible either. I'll take the crit heal. Three, 7, don't kill either of them. Go for this to try to take away the enemy action then. Not quite. And crit in return. Great.
Cannot be left unanswered.
Grape Shot can hit. It's 3 to 6. You have 6 HP. Let's go for the direct damage then. Cool.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Bit of an AoE attack to get rid of that one and at least deal damage. So actually, if we move you back, you can use Illumination on your turn. Because Illumination gives Torch +5. Okay, it's not exactly a lot of damage. What else does it do? Bypass stealth? And gives -20 dodge. Ooh, okay. Yay! Okay, so you might be tempted to just stall out here at this point because you can use Illumination to keep getting your torchlight up. Don't. That was a cheese that people realized when this game was, like, in early access, and the devs decided to get rid of it. In that, you can still do it, and the enemy will call reinforcements if there's below a certain threshold of enemies on screen. Like 2 basic skeletons, they'll call reinforcements still. Just 1 basic skeleton? Absolutely. Kill it while you can.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And those go away.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
There we go. So the actual mission here is to explore 90% of rooms. That means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms total. I believe that we can get away with not exploring 1 room and then leave. So let's go up to the room battle with treasure, because it's treasure, so it's guaranteed reward, versus curio is stuff like that torch that we salvaged, the chests that we found before, I think. The chests might count as reward, actually. But curio is like an interactable object, whereas treasure is you just can get stuff. A curio can have better rewards, but it's more of a risk. I am shocked that your kleptomania hasn't kicked in yet. And through, and torch. Hi. Oh yeah, I didn't move you. Whoops. Well, good for this. Cool.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
I could Divine Grace. Okay, I can't do that. That is available from rank 3, actually. So yeah, move you back 1, because then you can use your range and your melee attacks.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Okay, so on hit, guaranteed kill. Good.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Technically, this is the more difficult enemy, so it would have maybe been better to use Reynauld's attack on this one. But we can now do this. 6 HP left, bleed for 2, 4 damage for a kill.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
So, this is a treasure, but it is also what I would at least consider a curio, because it is interactable. It is an heirloom chest, has a little lock on there. Use a key. That's not a lot. Can I have my key back? Actually, no, I think keys are like on the order of either 100 or 200 gold, so that is still net positive. It's just not a lot. I feel like on this map, these scouts might be guaranteed, but on a normal level, getting 2 scouts that close together with like a 25% scout chance I think we're on. I have no idea if we can check that. It said it at the beginning at the very least. That would actually be pretty lucky. So we have a trap here. Room battle with curio there. I want to say this ends up being just a room battle, like there's no reward for it. So actually going over to here to get that scout to that, then back to here to get this room battle with curio, is a little bit of a better option, I think. And then through this room battle with curio, over to this curio to see if we can get a last little reward, then end the map. If we get that scout that I'm expecting. Oh yeah, I didn't bring bandages. Meh. That's why we got magic healing. And you are at 90, so go. Everyone has their own trap disarm chance, and if you disarm a trap, it relieves a bit of stress. We've scouted, and we know there's no battles, so we can do this pretty safely. That. There's no reason to do it that way, by the way. It's just what I'm most comfortable doing.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
We literally didn't even need to bring food. Okay, cool, sure. The fact that Reynauld does have a complete random chance of every time you get loot, he might just take it for himself, aka it just gets deleted, you do not get it. This is lucky that we've gotten all of this stuff. Dear God, I could set up a campfire and hit 2 or 3 hunger tiles and still be okay. That is absurd for this level. And I have... Yes, I have scouted this area. There's your hunger tile. So it uses 4 food because it's 1 food per person. There are ways to change how much that takes up, and we'll see the other main use for food later. I've already mentioned it as campfires. This is just an empty room, yeah? Yeah. Okay, we didn't get the scout. I still believe that we do just have a solid room battle here. So let's go back and hit up this room so we can try to get the extra rewards. And about to hit 50. So it's 1 light per tile you've already explored. What was that, 5? 6 per tile you haven't explored. Noted. I just wanted to test that out because I didn't actually know. So you have the 90% chance, but you have the highest stress, and you're at 60. Let's try this. If it fails, then you get an extra bump of like 15 stress or something, and you get a chance of getting a bleed, I think it is.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
Will do, Wayne. 1 torch remaining. Yeah, that's about what we needed, actually. And there. Torch. Into the room. Since you've already gone, let's try to take out one of you two. Pistol shot, because it's the same damage, but it's not having any of its utility taken up by bleed, which isn't going to work on a skeleton. Bleed resist 200%.
Be gone, fiend.
And the crit means no torch, so you move up. Go ahead and heal up you. And both of the enemies have used their actions, so we can just do this. Yeah, HP 15, sure. I want a grape shot. 3 to 6. Let's just go for the bullet then.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
You up. Nice crit, heals a little bit of stress. And then you. Cool.
Back to the pit. Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay. You can interact with the Holy Fountain, but I think its main use is just someone drinks from it here. I'm going to do this because this might be a stress relief thing, and I'm going to try holy water because nothing else has needed it so far. Cool. HP healing and stress healing. Okay. HP heals back to full after every quest, so whenever you return to the hamlet. So stress healing is very good. don't let your HP go to 0 for fairly obvious reasons, but keeping stress down is, like, one of the better things you can be doing in this game. And sack. Extra holy water and 500 gold. Okay. Okay, so we got 2 portraits, 2 busts, 2 deeds, yep, 8 crests. Crests are the easy ones to get, so you're going to rack those up quite a lot. 5,000 gold, 3,000 from the reward, 4 more crests, and our first trinket, I think it is. It's not a particularly good one, but it is a trinket. And these 2 got to level 1, you're about halfway to level 2. Plus 20 Stressing Cove is bad, but not terrible. 15% bleed resist isn't great, but I'll take a positive. Plus damage minus stress versus humans is actually pretty good for the early game. As you get to the later game, it's going to be less useful, but especially early on with the brigands and such, it's pretty good. Oh, we have 2 people with Klepto. Ugh. Like, we didn't see it activate at all in this map, but seriously, every time you interact with a curio or get any kind of reward or whatever, there is a chance, I think, per Klepto, that they just take all of that reward. You get nothing. Ruins Scrounger. 5% chance of scouting in the ruins. Sure, I'll take extra scouting.
The tents are pitched, banners fly, and the corpse wagons stand at the ready. The circus has come to town.
I didn't entirely realize that the circus was enabled, but okay, sure. Entering the ring will relieve 10 stress from all heroes. Actually, it's not bad. So, the Butcher Circus is like the multiplayer mode of Darkest Dungeon. I've never really interfaced with it. I think we're gonna end up just avoiding this because it's a free stress relief, but also I'm on the basic team. I'm going to just immediately lose. But that's going to be for next time. We got through the mission, we got back to the hamlet, so that's it for this one. Thank you all very much for joining me in this first episode of Darkest Dungeon. If this video hasn't ruined your life, then go ahead and do all that YouTube stuff here a million times. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.